We're at the largest mosque in Islamabad.
This is a very historic moment. We have the congressional delegation here with President McCaul's.
When we talk about the war on terror, we have to, one place in the world is really the epicenter for that, and that's Pakistan. In my travels to Pakistan, both to Islamabad, met with President Musharraf, went to Kabul in Afghanistan, visited our troops on the border. This area called the tribal area, or the Fatah, is really the epicenter, if you will. This is where the terrorists are training. This is where Osama bin Laden, if he's alive, this is where he is. It's the biggest threat to our soldiers in Afghanistan, and it's, in my view, the biggest threat to our homeland security. It's an area that I've visited with President Bush about upon my return, and strongly encouraged him to take action. We are taking action. I've questioned Secretary Clinton before Foreign Affairs on this issue as well. I think the administration understands the gravity of what is going on in this area of Pakistan and how close they are to becoming a failed state. They do have nuclear capability, so I view this as really the number one hotspot that needs a lot of attention. Pakistan brought us in 1993 Ramzi Youssef, who was responsible for the 93 World Trade Center bombing. His uncle, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, was from Pakistan. Ramzi Youssef met with his uncle, discussed flying airplanes into buildings, and of course we know Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, mastermind 9/11, carried that vision out on the tragic day, September the 11th, 2001. We have been able to prevent a lot of these attacks by getting good intelligence. A lot of this actually came from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who we were able to question very vigorously to get this information. It helped thwart attacks in Los Angeles at the which would have put a hole in the ground just like New York City. We were able to stop that through good intelligence. Some have questioned the practices in getting this information. I can tell you I went down to Guantanamo Bay just recently after the president made the decision to close it down to see what the conditions were like. I think perhaps one of the most chilling experiences that I've had in my lifetime was to actually see Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was responsible for killing 3,000 Americans. We have not broken their conviction, their belief. They are still very vigilant in wanting to do us harm. There are about 250 detainees down in Guantanamo, and I think the real question for the administration is going to be, now that they've made the decision to close it down, what are we going to do with these high-value targets? The top 16 al-Qaeda leaders are down there. We had released 60 of these detainees from Guantanamo who actually we found back on the battlefield trying to kill our soldiers. All the briefings I've received indicate that these are very, very dangerous actors. I think we need to be very careful in how we proceed with them in terms of whether there's a decision made to bring them into the United States and go through a federal court system. I would find that would be a very risky endeavor.
For like 1%.
When it comes to the last line of defense, the border, I've made many trips down to the border, introduced a lot of legislation in dealing with this issue. When I was Chief of Counterterrorism in the U.S. Attorney's Office, I had the Mexican border in my jurisdiction. With Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, with Castro in Cuba, with Chavez's alliance to Iran, that alliance puts that threat really right square in our backyard.
And what do you perceive to be the threat right now on the border? The biggest threat?
I think the traditional threat is still we have to be very much aware because, you know, the terrorist threat, the movement of illegal people, I think, you know, whether it's through the port or outside the port, that's probably number one.
And that security at the border is extremely, extremely important to securing the United States.